Okay. Shall we get going? I can always admit people, we're not going to get into the thick of it for a couple of minutes anyway, so. Right, good afternoon, everybody who is already here. Thank you for joining us today. Perhaps this is an extension of your lunch break, perhaps you're still eating your lunch, or maybe you're just sheltering inside from the rain. Either way, we are really glad that you have chosen to use this time to consider how you might be able to improve your own cattle management record keeping system. A bit of housekeeping. As we are running a virtual event, I hope you all know where your own fire exits and loos are. Cue the awkward laughter. But I do just want to make sure that everybody is happy using Microsoft Teams. So we really want you to get involved in today's discussion. So if at any point you've got a question, there are a couple of ways that you can ask. So if you're feeling big and brave, you can verbally ask a question. You can raise your virtual hand, so to speak, and when we see that, we'll unmute you. You can ask away. So at the top centre of your screen, hopefully, there is a smiley face with a hand, sort of a waving hand icon. If you hover over that, you can then click on the raised hand that appears underneath it. You'll see actually when you hover over that smiley face, there are actually some other icons that appear too. So feel free to virtually clap your hands or laugh at anything that I say today. I need all the encouragement I can get. If you're feeling a bit more reserved today, you can just click on the speech bubble that's next to that smiley face. That will open a chat on the right hand side of your screen. You can then just manually type in a question and one of my colleagues will tell me to be quiet for a second and read your question out so we can pick it up as we go through. So, who are we? A bit of an introduction to whose webinar it is that you've joined. So Landmark Systems, logo on the bottom, we have been providing business management and record keeping software, especially for the agricultural sector, for 35 years. And in that time, we, or rather Landmark, not necessarily me, have seen a huge amount of change in the agricultural sector. And our goal is to make sure that our products help all sorts of farm businesses cope with the ever-increasing administrative demands that seem to result from those changes. So whether you love tech and you're always looking for the latest tech-based tool, or perhaps you're a bit less confident, reluctant to use it, our team will support you. If, however, you're based in Scotland, you might know our Scottish division, so Farm Data, top logo. Farm Data have been in the same sector since 1977, and Farm Data actually developed the Cattledata software. Landmark merged with Farm Data back in 2019, and as a result, the Cattledata mobile app was born, and you'll be having a quick look at that later. Also, a quick introduction as to who you've got speaking to you / at you today. So we've got George Patterson. He heads up the Farm Data division and the development of Cattledata. Subsequently, he knows our Cattledata management program upside down, inside out, and any very technical questions will be being fielded by him. Then there's me in the middle. I actually look after the marketing for Landmark now, but prior to 2019, I worked on the field in East Anglia, actually. And then we've also got Gill. So Gill looks after the northeast of England and Yorkshire, and today she's got some nifty tips and tricks. So she's actually going to be showing us Cattledata a bit later on. And then I just thought I'd throw this slide in here. I thought we looked a bit too smart in the last one. But no, this is really just to clarify that Landmark really is made up by people who are involved with and understand farming themselves. So I'm a bit more au fait with the arable side of things, I will admit. But Gill, she hails from quite a decent sized dairy farm with her husband. She's also got a flock of sheep. George actually probably knows more about cows than us two put together, but I couldn't get another photograph out of him, so there we go. At this stage, I'd also like to welcome Claire Pollock as well. We are really grateful to Claire today. She is an active user of Cattledata, and she's agreed to come on and give you sort of a real user's perspective of using record keeping software. I can promise you, we have not told her what to say. In fact, today is the first time I've ever met Claire, so I say big thank you to Claire. But we will reintroduce her again in a moment. Someone's popular. So, why go digital or use an app? That's the question. I've left this screen blank, and it's not because I've forgotten to put anything on it. It's because actually, I'm sure you all have your own reasons for being here today. Your own reasons for looking at moving to a digital record keeping system. So rather than me just telling you what I think the benefits are, I'm possibly going to open myself up for an awkward silence. Does anybody want to tell us what benefits they're looking for by changing their record keeping system? You can either do it through the chat, and hopefully one of my colleagues will tell me what's been said, or you can unmute yourself and just say it verbally. Either's fine. So I'll wait here for 10 seconds. Are you going to stick with the awkward silence? Is there awkward silence? Yeah? Oh, well, that's fine, because I was prepared for an awkward silence. And I have actually prepared some more slides. So, how many of you at the moment perhaps have a little notebook or even just scraps of paper that you write down animal occurrences on when you're out in the field or the shed? Do you then have to go back into the office at the end of a long day and rewrite that information either into another smarter records book that you keep, or perhaps you go and type it up into a spreadsheet? And then when it comes to making your database submissions, whether that be BCMS, Scott EID / Scott Moves Plus, you have to go and type in all those animal numbers again. So that's potentially 3 or more times that you've had to write up or type up the same information. And that's potentially wasting a lot of time that you could spend doing something else. So software, apps should prevent you from duplicating your own effort. You only need to do it once. You add the information from your phone when you're in the field, and that's it. It's ready to go for everything else. I never thought I would be the sort of person that would include an emoji in a presentation, but here we are. This guy is supposed to represent an inspector. So does your current record keeping system leave you feeling calm and assured that everything is where it should be at the time of inspection? Do you have all of your up-to-date, accurate information in a format which hopefully the inspector will look at, give you a smile as he puts a tick in the box? Perhaps not. With software, so long as you've entered the information, it will take care of everything else. So whether it's herd registers, traceability reports, self-declarations, anything else, so long as you've put the information in, the software will put it in the right format. It's easy to understand for an inspector. How many of you that have joined use smartphones? How many of you probably feel like you use your smartphones too much or for pretty much everything? Whether it's communication, checking the weather, reading the news, or even ordering the shopping, we are all increasingly comfortable using our smartphones. In short, you already know how to use a smartphone, so keeping your cattle records on there will be easy. It's just another thing that you do with your phone now. Software, Cattledata, also easy to set up. You can just import your herd from the national database and pretty much away you go. And finally, happy cows. Because it's easy, hopefully you're going to be inclined to record more and more information. Set up treatment plans, record calving scores, add notes to individual animals. That information should then help you to improve management and subsequently the performance of your animals. That's the aim of the game anyway. Anyway, that's probably enough of me telling you about the benefits you might want to consider. So this sort of thing is always easier to get a grip on if you're hearing from someone else's real life experience. So, without further ado, we will introduce Claire from the Gill Wilkinson Farming Company. Actually, I'd like you to all memorise this screen. Some great pictures that Claire very kindly provided me with, but I'm actually going to stop sharing my screen just to make sure that you can all see Claire when she's talking. So I'm going to stop sharing, and Claire, if you can give us a wave, that'd be great. Let's go.
Hello.
Hello. There we go. Great. So I'm just going to ask, I love talking, I'm just going to ask a few questions to get the conversation going. But if anyone who's joined has any questions as we go through, as I said, please feel free to raise your hand at the top there or just pop a question in the chat. So Claire, tell us about...
As long as they're not hard questions.
yeah, that as well, as long as they're not hard. So I'm sure they won't be. It's lovely people that have joined us today. So tell us about the Gill Wilkinson Farming Company and your role there.
So I am the owner of Gill Wilkinson Farming Company. We have about 130 breeding cows and all their followers to finish. We actually sell all the followers through our farm shop. And we've also got 130 ewes, which I actually use sheep data for, which is the kind of sheep version of this, to look after my sheep. And we've got about 1,000 acres of arable land on top of that. So yeah.
You're quite busy.
Yeah.
And we've also just had a sunflower field as well. So why and when did you decide to set up Cattledata?
So I've only just recently taken over the farm about 3 years ago when unfortunately my father passed away. But my dad had set up with Cattledata years and years before that. I'm pretty sure he was maybe one of the first ones to get Cattledata. And that was probably quite a big challenge for my dad because my sister once went travelling in Australia and he managed to send her an entire email without a single space because he didn't know where the space bar was on the keyboard. So for him to have a digital cattle program that he could work and he could use was pretty good, and he got on with it great. He did all the cattle records up until about 7 years ago when I came back to the business, and then I took over from there.
And so now, is it just you using Cattledata, or have you got other family members or staff using it?
No, so I have myself and I've got a foreman and I've got a young cattleman slash tractorman. There's only the three of us that work on the farm, but we all have access to it on our phones. So I tend to do the births and the deaths on the computer in the house, in the office, and any kind of health treatments, any observations of cattle in the field, we do on the app when we're out in the field. We also use the app for if we're picking out heifers or deciding breeding schedules when we're in the field. The app's really handy because you can just, all the information is right there when you're standing in the field. I used to have to phone back to the office and then try and speak someone through how to use the program and which buttons to click to get the information that I needed. So it's much easier if you can just look at your phone and all the information's there.
Oh, that's great. And is there, are there any particular aspects that you would say Cattledata or the app, obviously you've just given us a bit of an example there, but has it helped you improve management of your herd in any specific way because of that information you're keeping?
Yeah, loads of ways. We do quite a lot. We're a closed herd, so and we're high health, but we started off a dairy herd that kind of got messed around with some blonde aquitaines in there, and now we've just recently moved to a stabilizer herd. So I've got a lot of different breeding going on in the background. So it's really handy when I'm picking out replacements and things, just to have all that information to date and all their health records. It's not something I do just now, but I've just bought a new handling system with weigh scales on them. So George, I was speaking to him not that long ago just about how I enter all that weighing information in and how I pull out reports. So that's really handy. I also find it quite handy. George has got it really set up quite well for doing your beef efficiency scheme. It just goes straight through. Also for your suckler calf schemes, things like that. It's all kind of on it. I don't really need to do much apart from press a couple of buttons, which makes my life a lot easier.
Great. So what would be the, I suppose it's quite a similar question, but what's the biggest benefit that you personally have experienced since using the app? Is it, you've saved a lot of time, or?
Yeah, probably. I also had a cattle inspection and a sheep inspection, so it was quite handy that I had all the information. The guy came in and obviously we went around all the cattle and sheep and things, and he came back to the office and I could just pull up any reports that he wanted. So it kind of laid my mind at rest that, he was exactly, all the information was there and I wasn't getting in trouble for not having any information. So that was really good. I also like it that the support that you get from Landmark is amazing, because I try and do all sorts of weird and wonderful reports. Like I was trying to analyse my success of the calves I've had based on the mothers over the last 20 years, which I'm pretty sure no one else in the world would want to do, but George just did me up a report and that was quite handy, and I managed to analyse that all out, so that was good.
Yeah, you can pretty much build any report in Cattledata, can't you? So that's great. And so, have you got any advice? So anyone here who's joined you hasn't got, digital record keeping. Have you got any advice for them? What should they think about when they're setting one up?
I think it seems a lot more complicated than it actually is. The reason my dad used to use Cattledata was because it was so simple. If you want to do something, the buttons are right there and you just click it. It's not a kind of techie program. Hopefully I'm slightly more technologically minded, you would hope, but I still got on really, really well with it. It's just simple and easy to use. So I suppose it's just go for it and try it. You guys are all amazing. If you phone up, George is the first one to be able to help you, and he understands farming, so when you're trying to do something, he has that kind of background knowledge of what you're trying to do, so it's just really easy.
Yeah, thank you. That's really helpful, thank you, Claire. Does anyone else who's joined, has anyone else got a specific question for Claire? Thank you for all the claps that I can see. I would say speak now or forever hold your peace, but there will be further opportunities to ask questions a bit later on. So
let off lightly.
Yeah, I have. So without further ado, then we will hand over to my colleague Jill. She's going to share her screen and she is going to give you a quick whiz through of Cattledata.
I'm just going to switch my camera on just to make sure, switch my camera off, sorry, just to make sure that everything works okay.
Rural broadband.
Okay, so can everyone see my screen?
Yes.
Great. So I'm just going to actually provide a brief overview of the system today and how, as Claire's already mentioned, how it could potentially benefit you, your business, and save you a lot of time. There is a free 30-day no obligation trial available, and for the guests joining today, your local consultant will make contact with you after today, and if you wish, provide you with a more detailed demonstration of Cattledata. So this is the home page, and the system is very straightforward and user-friendly. You have the ability within the system to have a few businesses on there, so you can have manor farm, home farm. You also have within the business the opportunity of grouping together animals, which is obviously relevant to yourself. So you can see here, I've just created a few different examples. Go back to the home page. So the system does work well, as Claire said, for her suckler herds, also works well for pedigree herds, and also for fattening units, where recording weights and performance is essential. And to import a weight, it's literally as simple as this. And we help set up all this for you. But you can see here, I've weighed 5 cows today, and you can literally see the weights come straight through. So we'll just exit that. Within the official bodies tab, this is where Cattledata sends information directly through to BCMS, and also if any information needs to be sent through to breeding societies if that's required.
That's also where, so anyone who's joining from Scotland, you know, a bit concerned about Scott Moves Plus, that's all done through there as well, and it's all very straightforward. And if you want to see it in more detail, I'm sure George can show you.
Yeah. Within the reports section, there's various reports within here. So you can get out of the system what information you're looking for. But again, just to show how the ease this works, we'll have a census and valuation report brought up. So as you can see, as at the 30th of the 9th, which is today, it lists how many cattle you have in total and what the valuation is. Now within all the reports, you can simply export them and save them to where you want, or you can literally just print the report off. So if we just go back to the home page and go to, we're going to go into the animal section. Now within the animal section, cows, calves, bulls, all of this can be uploaded from BCMS. However, I'm just going to show you how if you are on a fattening unit and you've got cows, calves or stirts coming on and off all the time, how quickly this can be done via a different way. And I've literally just bought this barcode scanner here, which as you can see, it wasn't particularly expensive. I've been outside and I have pinched some of my husband's passports. So I'm literally going to click into this scan barcode here. And with that barcode reader I've just shown you, in the matter of literal seconds, we've uploaded all the details of all these cows right the way across, and it brings in all the information. Now obviously I'm going to cancel this because I can't have my husband's cows sat on my system. But while I'm just showing you what else that's handy with the barcode scanner, if we go into the maintenance and the drugs and pharmacy, and I've ran outside this morning and also pinched a bottle of penicillin. If you had a new batch of that, so let's pretend that's what I'm adding now, you would literally press the plus, again, put your cursor into the batch number, and I've just scanned that in from the box of Depasilin, and all you would then have to do then is add the expiry date and the withdrawal periods. So for a simple bit of kit, it can, save time and also make sure that there isn't any mistakes made. So if we just come out of that and go back, excuse me, to the home page and have a look at some animals. So this is where all your animals sit. You can filter on these and literally take out calves, bulls, hit refresh, and it just brings up all the cows within the system. You also have the option of live or ex-herd. So ex-herd is stock that's been sold, or if it's stock that's died. You also have a search bar here. So if you knew exactly which cow you were looking for, you could type it in there, hit the search, and it brings up this cow here. So within a cow's individual record, this is where all the information is held. You've got sex, breed, colour, official tag, electronic tag. If it's Daisy the cow, all of that can be held on the main page. Registrations, again, if relevant. Same for the breeding summary. Events. Now you can add an event from here, and you would literally just go to the drop down box here and select which event you wanted to add. Or events can obviously be added on a group basis. Movements the same, you would literally just press add new if she was moving from manor farm to home farm, or from the big shed to the long shed. And again, the same with weighings, you would just add new and hit OK. So that's all the information within a cow record. Now, as Claire's touched on already, a huge benefit of Cattledata is the award-winning mobile app. So we're just going to, I'm going to stop sharing on mine and ask George to share on his. By me, if I can get back. There we go.
Okay.
So this is the mobile app and what it looks like when you actually open it up. You can see on the home screen of the app on the top right hand side, you do have the option of a help button, which provides, if you've forgotten how to complete something. It also provides you with the customer care service number if you're stuck with anything. If we and to get back to the home page, you literally just press the little home button in the top left. So it's pretty straightforward. If we go into an animal card and just select any cow, the 3 dots just at the top right, these provide you with the option if a cow has lost a tag. So you can just go into there and update that record and put in obviously the replacement reason. Within the I can never hit genealogy section, you have the pedigree and you also have.
Sorry, let me pick a better animal.
Okay, did she not have any calves?
No.
Oh. There you go. So you have the pedigree information for that cow as well as what calves she has provided in the past. And again, to go back, you just click the little back button in the top hand side. You then got events within this cow's history, and that shows you what's happened. You can filter, you can have it on all, or breeding events, or any health events if you just quickly wanted to have a look. And then we'll just go back again. And the same for movements. And if the cows, if you're recording weights, it would show in there as well.
Yeah, I haven't got any reins.
Yeah, and if that cow's having any current treatments. To come back out of the cow again, we just go and press the little home, and that brings you back to the main screen. So what we'll do is we'll create a new event. So if we just click that, and what we're going to do is we're just going to show you how, again, this system can save you valuable time, and we're going to go in and sell some cows from it within the mobile phone. So if we go into event, click sale, and we're going to sell cows 511, 514 and 516. You would then press next, and you would then fill in these details. So who we're selling them to. So it's the meat company, who's going to deliver them for us, whether it's, you could have yourself in there, obviously. Sale reason, store sale or prime sale, and then you would literally just hit validate. This mobile phone would then have to come back into where the main computer is and be on the same Wi-Fi, and you would literally just hit synchronize. Any records or updates you do on the mobile app, you do need to synchronize back to the main PC. Excuse me. So if George synchronizes that, and then I'll show you a real good little thing.
So I'll stop sharing.
Yeah.
I'll try and stop sharing.
Okay, so can everyone see my screen again? I know, sorry, it's backwards and forwards, but I dropped my mobile and it's not working. So you've selected them cattle to sell, you've hit validate, you've come in, you've synchronized that to the PC. You could then go to the sales return, select today's date because we've just sold them today. You would hit refresh and you can see here the meat company, we've sold 3 beast. So if you double click on this, it brings them up, and to get your sale declaration form, you literally just click this and then you could print that off. And this is obviously for your farm assurance. If you have a stamp, it's got a place for you to put your stamp, sign, print name and date, and you could literally just print that off. So you're going right through the process there from the mobile phone, and all you would also have to do from there is go to your official bodies. It would be sitting here that you would need to submit it, and you would just press submit. And that is pretty much it. One other useful, really useful thing is if you go, obviously you sell cattle, you usually get your weights after. You can import them from the abattoir, import your dead weights, and we will literally just show you this. So these, you get them in from the abattoir, save them to your desktop or your documents, wherever suitable for yourself. Hit OK. We're bringing in 5 records. And there you go. And that's bringing in your dead weight information from the abattoir. Okay.
Good.
Does anyone have any questions? I'll stop sharing, I think. And then
No technical questions.
Nothing in the chat.
No. Stunned silence.
I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing.
No, neither do I. Usually, hang on, right, so let me share. Sorry, we're changing screen again. Oh no, we have got one, Kevin and Audrey. Right, shall I unmute you?
Oh, I did it.
Oh, there we go, you've done it.
That last bit of the screen that she showed, the information coming in for the abattoir.
Yeah.
How does that come in?
Usually that's something you pick up from their website. So you would have a login to the abattoir's system, and
okay.
You can download the file from there. So
that's
I know
something
ABP.
that we've seen before, is it?
Sorry?
That's not something that we've really seen before. It just comes in with a sheet, isn't it, in the post or the email?
I just get mine in the post, and I just enter it all in manually. It's quite easy.
That's what I do. Yes.
Manually.
Certainly, there are a number of abattoirs now that will give you a login. You can log in to their site as you, and you will see your lots, kill lots there, and you can download a file onto your PC. Certainly, that one that we saw there was an ABP file. I know Scott Beef do. There's certainly a number now that you can get that information as a computer file now.
Okay.
Yes, it depends on sort of how many animals. You know, if you're just doing a few, then just quickly go in and update them manually. But if you've got,
is it just the mark? Is it just the abattoirs, or does the mark been doing that? If you're putting away stores? No,
I haven't seen any marks that do it, to be honest. No.
Okay, thank you.
But it does quickly get a lot of information in without making mistakes typing, because the kill sheets can be quite time consuming to put in.
Yep.
I've got a question from Peter Sermon. So can you update the prices after, as if they're heavy, we don't know what price you're getting exactly?
Yes, that kill sheet information is entered after you've entered the sale. So there are 2 operations in the system. There's the sale, which you, on the day they go or soon after, you enter the fact that they've actually been sold to wherever they went. You could put price and grade in at that point, or there is another operation which we call sale returns, where it calls up everything, all the animals sold in that lot, and you can enter the information into it later. So it essentially is a two-stage operation. The first one is the sale when they go away, and the sale return enters the information when you get it.
Does that help, Peter? I hope so. Anybody else? Great. If we don't have anything else, then I shall share my screen again. This one here. I'll go aside. We've done that. Right, so this is usually where we catch most farmers' interest. What does it cost? So Cattledata is sold based on how many animals you've got. So I've put up to 200 animals on this slide, but if you've got more than 200, that's not a problem. You can absolutely cope with that. Essentially, these options here equate to around about, either just under 500 or £600 a year. So that's between £2.50 and £5 a cow, depending on your herd size. So £2.50 a cow to ensure you don't have to write the same piece of information in 3 different places, and help you improve your management and have all your reports in the right place come inspection. Hopefully it seems reasonable. That price also includes telephone support. So as Claire was saying, and if she does get stuck, or there is a, you can build any report in Cattledata. If there's a piece of information that you specifically want on a piece of paper, we will help you to create that. So yeah, you've got us on side as well to help you make sure that your records are correct based on the information that you've entered. So yeah, looking there, sort of £40.50 a month, and then your mobile app is £8.50 a month. But as we've had a bit of a difficult few months, or everybody has, a few months, 2 years, feels like a decade. And as a thank you for joining us today, you can ignore that £8.50 for the mobile app that was mentioned on the previous slide. You can have the mobile app for free for 12 months. So that's saving you over £100 if I can do maths correctly. So yeah, that's for purchases by the end of November as well. So we're not saying, oh, you must order Cattledata today if you want to benefit from this offer. If you want, a week or 2, you want to have more of an in-depth demo with one of our team, or you want to have a bit of a think about it, not a problem. So there's me being enthusiastic. If anybody's ready to order, great. But if you need more information, you've got more questions. Has anyone got any more questions based on the pricing? I whizzed through that, I suppose. If one of the guys, if you can let me know if anything's coming up on the chat. No? Okay. So if you need more information, you can either raise your hand and we'll arrange to talk to you individually now. Alternatively, your local consultant, so that might be Gill, if you're based in sort of west of Scotland, that might be my colleague Alistair, they will get in touch with you to introduce themselves and assist. They can even arrange to come out on site and show you Cattledata in the comfort of your own home if you prefer. But as I say, they'll be giving you a call to introduce themselves, so do expect a phone call from them. We're all a friendly bunch. Alternatively, if they don't get in touch with you quick enough, you can give them a call. The number is that one there on the left hand side, 01798 877 100. And then finally, I also, I'm afraid, will be pinging you an email with just a couple of short questions on. Basically, I would love your feedback on this webinar. so that I can make sure if I organise any more of these in the future, they are either as good or better. Always looking to improve. And that is it. That is the end of me, predominantly me, talking at you. And I will be quiet now. So thank you. Let's say any questions, stay on the line. We're happy to help. And we have all afternoon. So yeah, thanks. Peter, I can see some questions here. I think Alice is on it. Yeah, 5 days a week.
Until George is silly enough to phone you on his mobile one day, and then you have his number. So you phone him all sorts of times.
Yeah.
Very true, very true.
Yeah, if you can catch them, we'll always help.
Right, I will go away and I'll leave you to it, but thank you very much.
Thanks, Claire.
Thanks,
Thanks,
Claire.
Claire.
No worries.
Thanks.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. I'll just hang on in case anyone does want anything.
George, can I speak to you?
Yeah.
We are needing you to come out and try and get this weigh-in thing.
Yeah.
The next few weeks, well, definitely in October.
Yeah.
If you've got a spare Thursday, that would be great.
Yeah. Give me a ring beginning of next week, and we'll put a Thursday in the book.
Perfect.
Yeah.
And possibly have a demo of that app.
Yeah. Yeah. Can do.
Right. Okay.
Okay.
Bye.
Thanks, Audrey.
Thank you.
Bye, Audrey.
Bye.
Right. Anybody else? Or should I leave? I feel I can't leave my own meeting first. Ah, here we go.
Does your program state how many days on the farm? So it just dropped off. I think yes, it does, doesn't it?
Yeah. You see that, George?
Is the record? Yeah. Does the program state how many days on farm? And if so, if we move between holdings. Yes. Yes. The record is continuous. We don't drop anything out. A record. It's a complete life record, and that carries on even after the animal's dead. You can still look up the complete record. Days on farm, there is this is probably to do with farm assurance. There is an option on the reporting system to show days on farm. There is also a section of the sales when you go to sell an animal, when you bring animals up for sale. There's a column in there that has a tick to say it's farm assured or not. So if it's been on the farm for 90 days, there will be a tick in that box to say it's farm assured. So if there's no tick on it, it hasn't been on the farm for 90 days. It's then not.
Do you know if you've got anything like that in the demo data, George? Just to put you on the spot.
I think there is, yes.
Would it help to have a look, Peter?
If I share this window.
Yes, please.
Okay, so if I go to sales, you can see there's a column here. It's farm assured, so that's a 90-day flag for being on the farm. And it just so happens that I think, oh no, suddenly we fit some at the bottom that are not. So they're recent purchases, so they've not been here 90 days. So when we go to sell them, we can see that.
Good. Yes, you've got George's attention to yourself, I think, Peter. So. You see that, George? So a report showing animals that are 29, 30 months old.
Okay, so is my screen still shared?
Yeah, I think part of, have you got two screens up, George? Because I think part of your last one was just on the other.
It's not on full.
Oh, okay, I'm just sharing a portion of the screen.
Yeah.
Sorry, right, stop sharing. Share again. Share the whole screen. So in the reports, calf and bull reports, 30-month schedule. If I display that, hopefully. I should have done a report first. Come on.
It flashed up. Has it gone onto your other screen?
No, I've just got single screen here.
Hmm.
Killed it. Dash. Life. Eh? Month schedule. What the next they're doing. Ah.
There we go.
So this is maybe a bit false because I've got a lot of older animals in, but basically anything that is coming up to 30 months is flagged. They hit this report when they're 28 months old. Go back, so we should get a break even somewhere. Yeah. So these ones are coming up. These ones aren't due yet.